Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that lives just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. It's just a little bit here. Today we're going to make this 5x7 card, which is a little bit larger than I usually do. I usually do the A2 size card, but I just felt like I wanted to show more of the paper and I wanted to use this big die cut, so I chose to go with the bigger card. You can always make this in a smaller card and I will show you one of those later. It just doesn't feature as much of the pretty DSP that we're using. So I'm going to set that over here so you can still see it, but it's not in my way. The colors we're using are Misty Moonlight. The stamp set is Winterly Treetops. And you will not find this in any catalog right this minute if you review this prior to the beginning of September. The beginning of September, this will be in our new mini catalog that goes from September to December. And I'm using this one and Thinking of You Always. I will be using this set or this stamp next week when I review different stamp positioners. So you can look forward to that. I'm going to put this aside for right now. So I went ahead and stamped on a piece of cardstock. It doesn't matter really what the size is, as long as once you get it, you can fit the birds. They just barely fit, but they do fit right in there. Before I cut it out, though, with the die cut, I want to go ahead and color this. I just stamped it in Tuxedo Black Memento. Technically, you should use your StazOn, but it's really not necessary. I don't do enough coloring on it with the alcohol markers to really make the black smear, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to start with a Lemon Lolly. I'm making chickadees. I'm from the state of Maine originally, and that's our state bird. Always love to see them, and I really like the look of, as you can see, I'm just coloring here. I'm not doing anything fancy. I like the look of the yellow and the blue together. I just think it's really pretty. I'll show you a little bit more of the DSP when we get to that piece. So as you can see, I just colored it one time plain. I could add a little bit more where Stampin' Up! Tells you that there should be some shadow. All I did was scribble over it. It's going to seep into the paper. It doesn't happen immediately. Or you can go with a little bit darker color if you so choose. I'm going to just put a little bit here, a little bit down in here, because I'm also going to be putting some black in there. Not black, smoky, what did I decide on? I decided on light smoky slate. But you could get away with just scribbling, literally scribbling on these areas that are darker. Don't look at it right away. Don't freak out because you can see it, because it's going to blend in. And it does make it give a little bit more depth to it. However, because I want this to look more like a chickadee, I'm going to go ahead and color in the wing. And of course the tail is black. And they actually have a little bit of black in here. And I'm going to show you what I do with that. And a little bit up here. I am not a bird expert. I'm not a color expert. This is just what I do. If you like the results, then we're good. Now, as I mentioned, don't look at it right away because it does tend to seep in, but there's an obvious line where I put the dark and it's not really that attractive. So I'm going to go back with my Lemon Lolly Light and just mess with those edges a little bit. All I'm doing is coloring over it and kind of trying to get both the upper part and the darker part in a more, I'm sorry, allergies in Louisville in August are well known. I'm just going ahead and blending. And that's blending. I mean, artists will do a whole lot more work. That's just not me. And I'm happy with the results as they come out. So I'm going to go ahead and use the darker one to get the beak. So we don't get all caught up in the different colors. You can get away with very few colors if you want to. And then I might add a little bit of the darker on there just to make it stand out a little bit more. I'm then using our bronze, which is one of our neutral colors. It comes with ivory as well. They come in handy for all kinds of things. You can use them for hair coloring, you know, branches, obviously. Just anywhere you can think of that a medium brown or a like beige, although we now have a beige stamps color, and the ivory is a little bit darker than that. There, I'm done with that. And again, I wanted it to blend in with the background, which is Misty Moonlight. So these have become blackberries or blueberries because that just made it easy. And that's the dark one. I probably should be using, oh no, it's the light one. All right, here we go. Light berries. I'm just coloring them in circles. They have this little, I don't know, it's not, actually it looks like an Ohio nut, but it is not. So we're just going to color them in blue real quick. As I said before, I am not an artist. And then I'm just going to go back in and color with the same color where those buckeye is what I think they look like, but where the blueberries, just to make it a little bit darker, and I'll show it to you as soon as I'm done. It's a subtle difference, but there is a difference, so it kind of gives it a little depth again. And that's it. I'm done coloring. So if you look real close, you can see like the darker tip, if you will. That's good for me. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put this. I love these dies. This set is called Spotlight on Nature. There's two sides. You can't really see the other side, but they're slightly bigger of each one of these. So you get tons of circles, as you can see. I use them for measuring and that kind of thing. But this one fits really well right where I want it. A lot of times I don't show you the cutting out because it takes more time and makes my videos longer. I had a couple people ask me to show a few things. All I'm doing now is I made a sandwich, which our cutter tells you how to cut each section. For this, I needed a 1, a 2, I am so sorry, allergy, a 3, the cardstock and die, and then the other 3. And I'm going to do one more in a second when I stamp. Let's take this out. You can cut it out ahead of time if you're worried about making sure it's the right size, but I can assure you it fits. And it really cuts it out well. There's nothing left in there for me to remove. So that is nice. Get rid of this. Put this up there where it belongs. I'm going to go ahead and do the stamping. This is a leftover piece of paper for when I cut the white background and the inside insert, because I used a Misty Mauve. We're kind of doing this all like backwards because I usually start with the card front. But let's see, I'm just going to put this right here. Thinking of you always. All right, then we'll put this die cut. If I was doing a lot of them, you can go back to some of my other videos where I show you how to do the multiples in a much quicker way than this, because each time you stamp, you have to make sure that this is straight, etc. But if you use a template, then you can cut out a whole bunch of white ones and stamp them up quickly. Just running this through again with the same sandwich. I have to do this off camera because it's on a little wheelie cart and I don't have enough desk space. I don't have a fancy setup for my videos. It's pretty basic. All right, so let's get this out. So these two things were done on scrap paper, so size doesn't really matter there. They're just stamped and then they cut out. All right, now to make the card to be a 5x7 card, you have to cut the short way at 7. So you have 1.5 inches left over here. And when you turn it, you want to cut off just 1 inch because the 5 and the 5 makes it, I'm sorry, this is 7 inches. 5 and 5 is 10. It's an 11 by 8.5, so that comes out that way. And then I scored it at 5. So there we have our pretty, let's score it with a real scoring tool. How about that? That'll probably work better. There we go. Now it sits straight. Now I cut 2 pieces of the white. It's just our basic white. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on. That's just to give it more of a framed look. It's not, necessarily needed. I like to frame out my pieces just because I think it accents whatever, even if it's a solid color, having a frame of some sort, whether it's white on the outside and a different color on the inside, is just a personal preference. This is definitely not necessary. You could have just put this right on there. When you cut out the DSP, this comes from Wildly Flowering, which I think I used in another video. Such beautiful colors. So pretty. Big bold patterns, and then calm ones. I call them on the back side, so you can use them in multiple ways. But I'm going to go ahead and, as you can see, this is I don't know if you can see, it's a very muted tone on tone. It actually looks like it's been textured, although it is not textured. It doesn't take a lot of glue. I do like to use the glue. It allows me to have a little bit more time. Don't always worry about the 4 sides if you cut it straight. You just need these 3 to match, and then the fourth side will be correct. And it's a little bit, there we go. All right. Now, that's all nice. Now, I chose to put a white insert. You could make it a small insert with leftover cardstock if you wanted to. You could just tuck this in the card and wait until you're ready to give the card away so that you could then write on it. And if you make a mistake, then you can always switch out or turn over the white cardstock. I don't need to do that, not because I have perfect penmanship or can spell words right the first time. I use friction pens and they erase, so I don't have to worry about that. They are heat sensitive though, so if you're putting them out in the sunshine, if you're laying this card out in the sunshine, your words will disappear. Then you have to put it in the refrigerator or freezer for it to come back. All right, now these I put up on dimensionals. And so we're gonna go ahead, and as you can see, when you use Stampin' Blends, any alcohol marker, it bleeds through. So just be aware. If you need something, I use a glass mat, so it doesn't matter. But if you're on something that would get stained, I'm putting a lot because this is a big old piece. If you have cardstock underneath that you don't want to have it get messed up, or if it's on, God forbid, a piece of fabric, you will definitely stain it through when you're coloring. And the more blending you do, the more it will go through. I put this at the top, and you can put the birds at whatever angle you want. My lovely little chickadees. I'm going to put them right there. And if you're a bird connoisseur and I didn't color my chickadees perfect, I'm okay with that. Putting Thinking of You up on, oops, I think 3 will be enough. It's fairly thin. We'll take that off. Now, I know I'm sending this through the mail because I already have somebody in mind. Putting 1 layer of dimensionals is not a big deal. It goes through the mail fine, doesn't cost any more money. I am not going to put gems on it. I think it would be really cute to have one here, but that's yet just another layer. So I am not going to do that. So there's your 5x7 card. If you're viewing me on YouTube, then you're going to want to go to my website, which is stampmesilly.com, and you will be able to get this project sheet once I make the mistakes updated so that it's correct. But you can get any of my project sheets over there. You can subscribe on YouTube, or you can subscribe to my website. Either way, there's a contact place on my website if you want a free catalog and don't have a demonstrator. You're welcome to contact me and we can get that in the works. I did want to show you what it looks like when you have these two birds on a regular size card. And you'll notice I've got deckled edges on these two. I tried it with like our postage stamp, which I think is really pretty too. And then maybe I would make this other layer a slightly bigger. And then this one I just put, it's very subtle. Let's see if I can get it to see. They're just like little dashes all the way around. And so that's more of a subtle thing. You can put that there. Again, you'd have to have a larger layer behind it. And if you're wondering what size layers they are, if you go to my website, you can find, it'll only have one of these, but you will find card and envelope sizes, the A2 generally, a half layer, which is probably what I would do if I was using that deckled one. First layer, 1.5, 2. This should be, or 2.5 and then 3. I've also got them for the 5x7 card, if you're wondering what size these are. Again, if you want to ask me a question, or if you want to get a catalog, you can email me at jandufour@yahoo.com or visit my website, stampmesilly.com, under Contact Me. You can request a catalog, or you can ask me a question there, or you can leave it down in the comments below. I do review my comments all the time. Give me a thumbs up if you like this one. And let me know if you like 5x7 cards, if you'd like me to demonstrate more about how I cut my cardstock, etc. If there's anything here that you want to purchase, you can purchase everything but the winterly treetops until the 1st of September. And this is coming out like for 4 or 5 days before that. So the stamp set's not quite available, so you might want to wait. But you can go directly to my online store at jandufour.stampinup.net. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this. See you later. Bye.